truckers in Quebec say our roads have become the far west, and they're asking for governments to do something about the truck drivers that are unlicensed, do not have the proper qualifications, and that are responsible for accident after accident after accident in the province. Let's welcome back Marc Cadieux onto the program, President and CEO of the Quebec Trucking Association. Marc, welcome back.
Good day.
Is it fair to say that Quebecers' lives are at risk every single day on Quebec roads because of a failure here?
Well, I would say that we're seeing more and more accidents on our roads. We've been challenged by quite a few accidents within weeks, loss of lives, with unexperienced drivers through the channel of the Driver Inc. approach. So, and as you did say in your introduction, we qualify this as being a bit of the far west on our roads. And then I would continue in saying that the sheriff is not in town anymore. The Tribunal Administratif du Travail du Québec has rendered a judgment in restraining the police force on the trucking industry, Contrôle Routier Québec, to be staying in their stop stations and their wait stations. Mm-hmm. They are not allowed to do any more interceptions because they are not equipped with the proper safety equipment to perform in their duties.
And we've had discussions about this, right? And that the inspections simply aren't happening. But I also want to get to where these truckers are coming from. Okay, these unqualified truckers. Are they being licensed in Quebec? Are they from neighboring provinces? Get into that. Like, where are these bad truck drivers coming from?
Great majority of them are from the province of Ontario, being mainly the headquarters of this approach is mainly Brampton. But there are quite a few of those outfit companies, non-fit companies. Throughout other provinces, we know that it's a challenge also in BC, in Manitoba, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, the core of this, which is the closest province, obviously, to us, is Ontario. So obviously, these truckers are hauling merchandises through Quebec and are putting at stake the safety of our road users.
And Quebecers are paying for it with their lives. We've seen accident after accident. Like Highway 30 has had a couple of very high-profile accidents on it where we've seen people, children, lose their lives. The drivers that are coming out of Ontario, do they have a license? Like, are they driving completely illegally? Have they done a course? Do you know, like, if there's any oversight in Ontario right now?
Well, there've been quite a few displays on that. CBC Marketplace has put on a troubling interview on this issue in going into some of those companies and doing it with a hidden camera. And getting the explanations how and to see how they are poorly trained, they are unexperienced, unused to our weather and our different seasons in Canada, and they are put on the road by certain channels which are illegal channels to get their license. Some of them have been stopped at some wait stations with no driving permit or false driving permits. Wow. So that there's many roots to this problematic in Canada right now.
And of course, adding to that, what you mentioned off the top here in Quebec, the contrôle routier, they can't be on the roads. They're stuck in their stations, so they're not doing their full job there. But it seems to me, when we're talking about interprovincial trucking, and a lot of these truckers are coming from outside of Quebec, should the government of Ontario and the federal government be stepping up here to stop this?
Everybody should be stepping in. It's a responsibility of in Canada, coast to coast. Every jurisdiction should be exchanging information, making the channels open to get that information. Who has a valid driver's license, active or not? Some of them are not even insured, or they're carrying just a paper slip with an insurance that they probably took for a month or two and then canceled, but they're still running around with this little pink slip that we usually call in making some agents in the control routier Quebec understand that they could be covered for a whole year, but which is often not true anymore. Mm-hmm. They are working on double end identities. It is very difficult, and it takes quite a few skills to detect all those. And I'd like to get back to the accident that happened on the 30 2 weeks ago. This fellow that was driving had been driving for 57 hours without complying to the minimum rest of 8 consecutive hours. So we don't know if he's had a rest or not, or if he did have a rest, well, he didn't have the compliance rest, which is a consecutive 8 hours with not driving.
So that's incredible. Is it behind the wheel?
And he was also carrying a GPS which had mapped all the back roads to try to avoid the scale and control of Contrôle Routier Québec. That was seized by the authorities. Wow. So this is the kind of users that we have right now. One of them, of an accident of 2 years ago, was deported, brought back in front of our judicial system, and needing an interpret to defend himself. So how, in God's sakes, how could he have gotten through a training, French or English? How could he have had passed the exams to get his driver's license, French or English, if he can't even can't handle the French language or the English language? There are a lot of questions to be asked.
It's just unbelievable here. We're with Marc Cadieux, President and CEO of the Quebec Trucking Association. I read this week, Marc, that over 10% of the violations of the Temporary Foreign Workers Program comes from the trucking industry. Do you see that? Do you see that as well? Are these people that are brought in? They're under the Temporary Foreign Workers Program, and they're not trained enough.
Well, many are brought in through false pretexts. Some are brought on the refugee status. Some are coming in under student visa. Some came as plain tourists, but it's a whole scam. There are very big leaders of some communities, and I'm trying not to be to racialize the debate at all, because we do need immigration in our country, and we do need those workers, but we need the workers that are going to contribute to our society, pay their dues, pay their social dues, because the Driver Inc. is a whole scam of those employers that are hiring them with contracts and not being while they should be taken under that company under an employee. So it's a misclassification. Their companies are voting all the social duties. I mean, Assurance Maladie, Rendu Québec, CNSST, the group insurance. Obviously, you are operating with somebody that you're in the 20 to 30% less cost of operation, and they are eating up our generational companies that some of them are in the 4th generation. They are killing these companies because they are an unfair competitivity. Competitivity has always existed in our field, but this is a fair.
If someone doesn't have to do any training, and if someone is taken advantage of to drive 57 hours without a break, that goes beyond unfair competition, right? It's like,
well, there's a word for this. It's called modern slavery for me.
So I have to wrap up here, Marc. Are the politicians getting it? Are they doing something?
Well, we were not one Monday on a press conference with the Bloc, and then we hopped to the Quebec caucus of the Conservative Party. I think that there is something brewing up in the government's mind to take action on this. But at this time, when we are talking right now, it is not meaningful enough, and it doesn't show on an everyday business for a trucking company.
I'm outraged, but you must be outraged. I'm outraged by this. Like people are going to die if we keep going down this path.
The
right?
sad part, about this is that now normal citizens driving on the road can't make the difference between a fit driver and an unfit one.
Yeah.
So that is the sad part of the image of our industry that's being tarnished.
Marc, got to leave it there. Thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Marc Cadieux is president and CEO of the Quebec Trucking Association.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years.
And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.